cloud for you here, and I will try to get you that recording, Scott, afterwards, so you can post
if you can. I'll throw it on my podcast too.
Yeah.
What podcast is yours? Scott?
WNYBrews, Western New York Brews.
Is it a YouTube thing or is it on Apple Tune?
No, iTunes kind of thing.
iTunes? Okay. I'll find it.
We've been around since 2015.
Oh, nice.
Not that you should know that. We do not record frequently.
That's about as long as we've been around, too. Is 2015, right, Jason?
Yep.
That was our first episode, was it?
Yep. First episode was 2015.
March of 2015, in fact. We're 5 years in.
Okay. Nice. There you go.
We just hit the JBG anniversary.
All right.
Too, guys.
Whoops. That's not good. I just shared the link out to everybody. Okay, so for everybody, I apologize for the technical difficulties we were having. I did share out a new link. If you're watching this, you saw that. Tonight we're doing A Nice Place to Brew happy hour again. Right now we have Scott from WNYBrews, Jason from A Nice Place to Brew, and Paul from the JBG Homebrewers Guild, and our last happy hour, in which he made himself slightly infamous in some people's eyes. So,
we'll get to that. Oh boy,
we'll get to that. But we are live, and Jason is working on sending out the new links. I apologize again for the issues that we had, and but hopefully you can still find us.
We got a handful of links.
I did want to, okay, great. I did want to, as a bit of a housekeeping thing, I did mention before that our website was hijacked by jerks. I was able to get that. Yeah, it was, but I was able to get that up and running. Unfortunately, this is a bad example because this is the old. Oh, here we go. This is our website that people online can see, but the people on the chat cannot at the moment. So, yeah, we're going to be sharing our podcast episodes, our live streams here. And hopefully soon enough, we're going to have articles and recipes and tips and tricks from the semi-pros, as we like to call ourselves. And so keep an eye out for that. It is a niceplacetobrew.com. And as things develop there, I'm going to try to make sure that we have updates out on Facebook and Twitter and, those relevant social networking places. And since we're always saying it, you can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. As far as our podcast goes, all 44 episodes up to this point. And so we have links to all of our relevant social media at the top of our website as well.
But we are not limited to just iTunes and Stitcher. Let's not.
We are not. Far
forget.
From it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can also check us out on your preferred podcast platform. Most recently, Spotify. All of our episodes are available to Spotify listeners. Also on iHeartRadio. Check us out at A Nice Place to Brew.
Because who knew iHeartRadio had podcasts, but apparently they do. So
that is true. Learn something new every day. All right.
So Jason,
should we kick this off?
Kick it off, man.
All right.
We gotta find a better way to do this.
Oh, good.
See, part of me says we got to find a better way to do that, and part of me says it's tradition at this point. So I'm not sure what is the right thing to do.
I will not be nostalgic or sad if we find a better way to deliver our intro on our webcast.
Okay.
Welcome to the Nice Place to Brew. I'm Jason.
And I'm George.
And we have guests
with us tonight. As I said, we have Scott from WNYBrews, and we have Paulie from the Joliet Brewers Guild, and we also will be joined with Sean. Is it from Mad Hatchet at some point?
Yes, correct.
All right, so
yes.
top of the show, we got to ask the question: what are y'all drinking tonight?
Okay.
Brickstone APA.
Nice.
Okay.
Scott?
I'm drinking probably the same homebrewed Hellas that I was drinking the other night.
That's the point of making it. That's
Yes,
I know,
it.
right? We got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
It's on tap.
Jason, what about you?
All right, so I'm wetting my beak right now with about a quarter pour of my Irish Red, but I've got something here on the table that I'm looking forward to, and Paulie will definitely recognize this when I hold it up.
Is that a Hot Butcher thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a beer from Hot Butcher for the World, and it's called Mirror Ball. It is a 7.5% double IPA with a hop mix of Mosaic, Centennial, and Citra hops.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Me, I've got a local Virginia brew from Big Ugly Brewing. I kind of teased this on Twitter a little bit. It's called Dark Journey. It is a bourbon barrel aged porter coming in at 8% by volume, and Big Ugly Brewing is out of Chesapeake, Virginia. So,
where is Chesapeake, Virginia? I'm guessing it's by the coast.
I think I was going to say it's down near the coast, but so I don't know exactly where though.
This beer looks like straight up pineapple juice.
Does it have pineapple in it?
Nope. Just looks like it.
No, just looks.
That's
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Does look like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And the smell is incredible.
As always, if you are watching and you have a question, feel free to drop it into the chat. I will try to address it there, as well as bring it up to the group, to the panel, if you will, the council, and see what they have to say.
Thank you.
So
we had some great participation in the last webcast.
We did. It was kind of fun.
Yes. So come on. So come in. Don't be shy.
Some good questions.
George, is there any pointers that we need to give for our listeners as to how to best post their question? Or is it just go to the YouTube page, go to the stream, and just go to the comments section? Is that how you ask questions?
I'm not. Yeah, there's a live chat. There's a live chat in the stream. Feel free to just drop it in there. Shows up on my screen here, and we can go ahead and answer it. So
very good.
Yeah, that's probably the best way.
Okay. We had some great advice on the last one. We had an avid Guinness fan who said, "How can I find other beers that are similar?" We talked about dry stouts. We talked about nitro stouts, and there was one other piece that we. Oh, and
how do you
friendly bartender
translate from regular beer to craft beer?
Yes, exactly. That was the question. Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
As we say,
well,
tips
we have
from the semi-pros.
Taking a look. Tips from the semi-pros. So, how's it going, guys? We haven't talked since Tuesday.
It's been a long time.
Gone nuts yet? Doing all right?
I'm all right.
It's been a long time.
I went and looked at some work today, so that's good.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I'm a plumber by trade. Well, every week, but except for Scott knows, so I can work if it's out there. So I am going to try.
Plumbers in general are I mean, there's no work stoppage around plumbing work these days.
Essential.
Yeah, it's an essential job. You know, you want me to call Roger Sewer for backs up?
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's pretty essential right there.
Yes, agreed. Scott, what about you?
Yeah, I know if I'm having a plumbing problem, I want it fixed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody here having an elementary school music problem? Because I can handle those.
I'm having an adult music problem trying to figure out my instrument.
If you need to have some recorder, One-on-one instruction on the recorder or violin, I am there.
How about
you.
banjo?
Yeah, how about
I
the
actually you need to come to me for banjo. If you actually have banjo issues, I am the person you want to call.
You actually know you play?
I don't play banjo, but my dad
Okay.
No, my
Your dad
dad
does?
is a banjo player, and I would put him up against any banjo player in the country.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So we have a nice place to brew intro. I would love to have it
Sam.
redone, remixed, if you will, as a banjo with the banjo that we could, mix in there every once in a while. I think that'd
That
be
is
great.
an amazing idea.
I'll send
we
you
do
guys
have
a-
another.
I'll send you a link.
Go ahead, Scott.
Again, my dad is a bluegrass musician, and I'd put him up on banjo, dobro, and harmonica, top 5 in the country.
Does he play with a band and travel?
He
or is he just
does.
a whole player?
He
What
doesn't.
band?
He doesn't travel, not with the COVID-19, but he teaches nationally.
Oh, okay. Well, who's your dad by chance? I might know who he is, to
Okay.
be honest with you.
Well, last name is Panfill, Mark Panfill. He's a banjo player, dobro player, and harmonica.
All right, I'll look into that. As
Yeah.
Jason knows, I'm really well into bluegrass music.
I'll
Part of-
send
Yes,
you.
he
I'll
is.
send an email. I grew up going to bluegrass festivals across the country,
Oh,
just
okay.
because he would drag me there, and I was young, and we would go to bluegrass festivals.
Tell him about Frankfurt, Polly.
Yeah, we have a bluegrass fest in Frankfurt back 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Polly is one of the. He's being modest, but he
Polly's
is one of
gone.
the. He's one of the
No.
very.
Guys, there. I had to decline it real quick.
He's
Oh.
there. He's there.
Frankfurt Bluegrass Festival has been going on. This will be the 10th year. It's in downtown Frankfurt, south suburbs of Chicago area. Did you hear my question about the IBMAs? You know what those are?
Oh yeah, no,
International
he is the education person for the IBMA.
Oh, okay. I might know him because I'm good friends with like Greg Cahill and the Hillbenders, and
Yeah.
I've met Michael Cleveland. I've met Jeff Austin before he passed away. I know the Hen House Prowlers real well. So actually, what I do is I can't say I'm part of the hospitality crew. So
Nice.
we make sure that our volunteers and musicians are treated very well there, and that's why we got the best event of the year award 2 years ago now. Was it 2018?
A special title has been bestowed onto Polly, and he is the official beverage liaison of the Frankfurt Bluegrass Festival.
Hey, I am in on this. I'm looking at the Frankfurt Bluegrass Festival right now for 2020. Traveling McCory's, at Dillard's, Robbie
Right?
Folks, Special Consensus.
Yeah.
I guarantee if you talk to some of these people, they will know my dad.
Well, if you're not doing anything, since you'll be on a summer break, you should come out and hang out for the festival.
Man, if I can go somewhere,
I can speak to this, Scott. It really is a great time.
Frankfurt Bluegrass Festival.
Yeah. Like that festival is what got me into bluegrass music. I didn't follow it really to any extent until I went for the first time 2 years ago, and I just had a blast.
Awesome.
2 years ago. Wasn't that with Jeff Austin Pipeline? Yeah, that was 2 years ago. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last year we had the Hillbenders.
Would you believe we're back offline, fellas?
Are you serious?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I'm
What
sorry.
are you gonna do? Who cares?
I'm not sure what's going on.
We're here for us, right? We're here
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna
exactly.
try. I'm
Is
still
it-
gonna try, but
You know what? I think they kicked us off because we were talking about bluegrass music, not home.
That's right.
Home room.
Like, I don't want to
So,
talk
since-
about it.
Since we're not online, I can't really say this online, Scott, because I got in trouble last year for it. But we have a hospitality house where I run the bar backstage, and what was it? I had like 14 beers last year, Jason, plus the meat that we made.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
and it was
But we
all
do-
it was all donated by local musicians or local breweries from the Chicago area.
Awesome.
I do feel bad because we have a professional brewer in the house here, and we're having troubles with
From
our with
where?
our broadcast here. Sean, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. We're offline then, huh?
Hi, Sean.
Welcome, Sean.
Hey,
Sean?
hey, you gonna roll some cigarettes
I'm
today?
working on-
We're
working on
getting
never
no,
know,
no.
dude.
Save it,
You
save it.
never
We're gonna
know.
get to that.
All right.
I actually went back and watched it the next day. I'm like, oh my God. I was oblivious that we were on live on YouTube. That's the funny part of it.
Dude, I was
Didn't even think about it. I thought we were just all on Zoom.
I was howling, showing
Yeah.
my wife. I was like, Paulie's rolling a joint right up right now.
Ah.
Like at the very end, I'm like right in front of my phone. I'm like, yeah, look at that.
It was like you were showing it off. Anywho.
Like I said, I was completely oblivious that, I thought of like this was just a JBG thing. And, nothing's ever said. And I'm like, okay. Then you text me the next morning. I'm like, oh my God, I got to watch this. And then I did. I'm like, that's fucking hysterical. we might actually get people in tonight just to watch, see if I do this.
Well, we
I
gotta
am
resend the
here,
links
so you
before we
never
get
know.
there.
I saw the
Yeah,
video.
right?
Like that's got to be tobacco, right? He's not online.
on the fifth one, how is he not talking to the wall right now?
I just love how completely unaddressed it was. Paulie, he's up to joint number 5, and everybody's just kind of like looking. I'm like, okay, that's Paulie. Okay, continue the conversation.
Yeah, if that was literally 5 joints, I would be talking to the wall or probably sleeping.
I would think anybody would.
Well, I imagine your tolerance is better than mine, but I was like, man, after the second one, I'd be talking to the wall.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I do smoke, but nowhere near like I did 15 years ago. So, like, I can make a pipe last a day unless I'm out and about. That's a different story. So,
well,
but I guess doing this stuff is kind of like being out and about. We're all social distancing ourselves. So
what's the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so
at least
fellas, we are live.
Again?
Yes.
Knew I should
Again.
have grabbed a beer.
Hopefully for real. Hopefully completely this time. Stream
Live
quality
now.
is good, and so live now. Yeah, and I will pop in the link here.
So, Sean, from where do you brew?
I am currently we just opened Mad Hatchet in Shorewood, Illinois, April of last year. So we're coming up on our anniversary. So we'll see if it actually happens.
That's shitty anniversary. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was at the beginning of April, though, right, Sean?
No, it's actually 420.
Hey, on
Oh, is it
420.
really?
All right.
Yeah, we opened on 420.
All right, I'm at madhatchetbrewing.com right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
See a
George.
couple
Awesome.
beers we have on tap and stuff like that. But
The
yes.
beard, it says.
yeah, that's my official title.
The beard / brewer. Awesome.
Hey, George.
Where's George?
Yes.
There he is. He's down at the bottom right now.
Where can I get
I don't see him.
the new YouTube link?
I put it into the chat here for you.
Okay.
Yeah, my videos keep swapping. Right now, Jason's on top.
I know. Yeah.
And George is on bottom. And Paul's right above George. And Sam, you're right in the middle. Or Sean, excuse me, you're right in the middle.
Yeah.
Keep swapping on me.
It's doing the same
Okay.
thing for me on my phone.
Sorry about that, Mike. The internet is apparently working against me tonight. So that is my bad. But
Where
We're
in
still
Virginia
going?
are you at?
I'm outside of Fredericksburg.
Okay, I did 8 years in the Navy, so I spent a lot of time in Norfolk,
Okay, sure.
Virginia
Nice.
Beach area.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for your
anyway,
service.
I was 5 miles off the coast from any real danger playing Madden.
Still,
No
man.
worries.
I was in Lackawanna, New York playing Madden. So that's
I thought, isn't that the stereotypical Air Force thing? No. So, rundown one more time for everybody that's in here. It is in the previous recording, but we have Jason, we have George from A Nice Place to Brew, Paul from the Joliet Brewers Guild, Scott from WNYBrews, another podcast about home brewing and things with the Western New York area,
Buffalo.
and Sean from Mad Hatchet Brewing here to talk about, and just have some fun, talk about beer and home brewing and some of the professional side of what's going on.
Yes.
Hopefully have some
welcome,
fun.
Scott. Welcome, Sean. Welcome, Paulie.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Absolutely. So we went down previously before what we're drinking. Scott's drinking his home brew because that's why we make it.
That's
Jason, you have Mirror Ball, right?
From Hot Butcher for the World.
From Hot Butcher. I've got Dark Journey from Big Ugly Brewing. And Paul, what did you say you had?
Brickstone APA for now, and then I'm gonna move on to Hazy Hero later.
Okay.
From
And then
Revolution.
Sean.
I'm drinking a Hailstorm Stratus from Tinley Park, Illinois.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say I assume you got something with the hatchet on it, but maybe not. I guess not.
That would have been better self-promoting, I guess, but I drink those beers enough.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand that. Yeah. All right. So, yeah.
Keep looking for.
Sean, thank you for joining us.
Oh, no,
What's
no
Jason?
worries.
Ooh.
All right. I think I've got the right YouTube link up.
I'm
going to try to. I'm going to try to.
With everything that's you're seeing. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm going to try to monitor the.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to monitor the YouTube window to see if a comment comes in, but I'm not totally sure that I have the live window in front of me. Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry,
Okay.
guys.
Well, I know that I do, so no worries there.
Okay.
Okay. Activity with a lot of businesses right now, especially in the brewery business, with people doing pickup, curbside pickup, and selling gift cards and doing all kinds of things. You guys are a relatively new brewery, so I imagine you're doing a few things yourselves. Do you have any thoughts on what you would suggest for yourself and other breweries out there at the moment?
Well, I mean, yeah, right now we're doing curbside pickup. You can order online. We'll bring it out to the curb. We're doing, you can just walk in and order there. We just can't serve you anything in the glass. We're actually still brewing. We kind of changed our brew schedule up. We're brewing a sour this week and a stout early next week. Probably tentative. Everything's tentatively when we're actually going to brew it. We're waiting on tank space, but stuff that's going to hold up. Obviously not throwing a hazy IPA in right now, or not anything with big hops in it, just so that it's going to hold up through however long this lasts. But for the most part, people have been awesome. The couple nights I've been in there while we've been open. We're only open for like 3 to 7 or 3 to 8, or no, 3 to 7, 3 to 7 every night for we just do crowlers. We don't have anything canned or anything. And the public's been pretty awesome about it. And all our regulars have been there. And I mean, we're not doing as good as when we're open for sure, but
curbside business is okay.
What's that, Paul?
Are they letting you guys do growler fills? I know you don't have growlers. But
No, that was.
Or is that something against that too?
No, number one, we made a decision, Mike and I, before we opened, that we weren't going to do anything growlers, just because crowlers are a million times better. 99% of people who use growlers are super cool and come in with a nice clean growler, and they put it in their car, they drive home, and they put it in their fridge, And then you have those people who let it bake in the back of their car for a week, and then I see an Untapped rating about how skunky our beer is, or something like that. So that was just something we chose. Why do it?
I respect that.
Yeah, why do it when crowlers are
I do
just
too.
so much better? It's the same quality as, you know, as long as you have someone who's trained well doing it, which our staff is completely. It's the same quality as buying this off the shelf. It's a can.
Right. See, my thing with doing growlers in the past has always been, you know, you can reseal a growler and it'll hold for a little bit longer. But once you pop open a growler, you're kind of committed to drinking that. But from your perspective, from your perspective, I totally get where you're coming from. That it can, if someone mistreats the beer, it can definitely lead to blowback on you guys. So I understand that.
Yeah, we're going to do everything we can to make sure the quality is as like we're pouring out of the tap when you take it home.
Absolutely.
Question, and this is, I feel a little foolish asking this, but is the filling process any different from filling a crowler versus a growler?
I mean, besides you have to seal it with the machine, no, it's pretty much the same.
Okay, that's what I thought.
All the good breweries will purge it with CO2 before they fill a growler, and then
Sure.
run it in there, and then you smack the cap on without letting oxygen, especially with those IPAs and stuff. You don't want them to get oxygenated, and then reel it up. So, yeah,
Right.
pretty basic stuff.
Okay. But curbside business has been decent for you guys.
From the times I've been in there, yeah, I've been trying to stay away. Mike and I are the brewers there, and we both still work our full-time jobs.
Okay. Okay.
So my full-time job right now is going to hospitals and fixing medical imaging equipment. So
that's an important job, right?
I'm trying to stay distant from there right now, you know, because I went into one room the other day and they were like, "Oh, this is our COVID testing room and your scanner's in it." And I was like, "Well, wheel that thing out here." so yeah, but so I've been trying to stay away from there during our shutdown, just in case. You know, the whole thing is, you know, I don't want to get going on COVID too much because let's have fun and talk about beer. But the whole thing is you don't know you have it until it's, you know, like every day I'm like, can I smell? I guess that's a new thing, is they say if you lose your sense of smell before anything. So
I had not heard that before, but that's good to know.
And apparently blood type is better than
that.
A blood type.
When it comes to this, that's strange.
Yeah, well, it's not confirmed yet, but that's their suspicion based on what happened in China. So I read a lot about it just because I'm getting exposed to it just by going.
Sure.
I blanked out for a second there. What about blood type?
Apparently the most susceptible blood type to the virus is, and this is not confirmed, I'm not a scientist.
No, still.
But, you know, preliminary reports from China is showing that they had a lot higher infection rating and more serious cases with A blood type, where O blood type was the lowest. I
all right.
think, you know,
I'm an O, so I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm an O positive too. Don't quote me on it, but that, you know, it gave me a little bit of hope. You know, like don't take your medical advice from this podcast.
Exactly. We offer no legal or medical advice on this podcast.
This
we have
beer
one
podcast
guy
is not the right arena to get your COVID-19 information. Are you saying?
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
We have one guy last time who was smoking tobacco, and
Tobacco.
So we're
That's
just
right.
we're not a source of legal or medical information. So, okay.
But if you guys want to start that podcast, I'll join you and throw bullshit information out there all day.
We would not be alone in doing that. But anyway,
Giving false facts the whole show.
You might as well clickbait.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh man. So on something different, I've been actually extremely busy between this and work, trying to help out with different people with the Masons and things like that. But in my downtime and when I'm trying to disconnect from all the craziness going on, I've kind of fallen down one of those YouTube rabbit holes of history videos, and I found 2 channels that I thought are really interesting. I just kind of throw out as a recommendation. One is Oversimplified History, where they do cartoon animations and oversimplify, various historical events with a comedic twist to it, and it's really entertaining. And the other one is Mr. Terry's History. It's a history teacher that watches and reacts to things like Oversimplified and stuff like that, and fills in details and corrections and whatnot from a history teacher's perspective. And he talks about how he teaches his class and stuff like that. And it's really interesting. And it really kind of came to my attention because randomly one of his patrons sent him and said he should do a history teacher reacts video to the epic rap battles of history and the different things. So here's this, boomer dude sitting down watching epic rap battles of history and commenting on it. And you know how it says at the end, who won and who's next? He's like, all right, down in my comments section, say who won. And the teacher in him came out and he's like, oh, by the way, justify your answer. So it's like this ridiculous internet video. And he's assigning homework. And so definitely found that interesting and entertaining. So
I don't want to get us too off topic here, but I started watching that Tiger King at like 6 o'clock yesterday and stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to finish it. My
wife is watching that. That's crazy.
What is Tiger King?
Oh my God, dude. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I can't stop watching it. It's over now. I finished it, but it's about this, all these people own these big cats, and, have these zoos or whatever, just watch
Sean,
it.
You're burying the lead. Like this one dude, he's got like how many cats? He's got like over 100 cats. And oh, by the way, he's
227 at one time I heard. Yeah.
There you go.
God.
Oh, by the way, he's got a religious cult. He's a polygamist. It's
you're talking about the other guy. Yeah,
I'm talking about the other guy.
I was talking about mullet dude with the mustache.
No, the other guy. It just gets crazier and crazier and crazier.
I'm in. Yeah. I'm absolutely in.
He's just so terrifying that human exists that I can't stop watching. I don't know. That's all I got to say about that. Watch it for sure.
Oh man,
I'm in.
Yeah, that and Millions on HBO had me going for a while, where they talk about how the Monopoly game was essentially fixed through its entire course at McDonald's through the 90s into the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That it was rigged.
I mean, even though I'm still working full time with the brewery being closed, normally my nights are spent there a lot of the time, like 4 or 5 nights a week I'm there, and I've been getting in some, binge watching. So those are my 2 recommendations, I guess. Nothing beer related. We should probably talk about beer again, right?
Yeah, let's get back up beer.
Yeah.
Well, talking about Cobra Kai.
This is about beer, and it's just about us blowing off steam too. So that's perfectly fine, Sean. No worries there.
We can go down all the rabbit holes we want.
Absolutely. So,
did Jason tell you my big upset with your macro brew BJCP episode?
No, go ahead.
No hams, no PBR.
Really?
Okay, so did Jason tell you why we didn't have PBR?
I think he told me you guys basically went to a gas station and what they had, you had.
That's right.
Yes, and because we talked about PBR, but Jason said I don't want a case of PBR in my house after the fact. So that's why
you could have dropped that case off with me, Jason. I would have taken care of that guy real quick.
Sean, your beer is way better than any PBR any day.
Oh yeah, but
you don't need.
I'm not going to argue with you there, but I think it was Beer Advocate. Again, don't quote me on any of this. It was like 5 or 6 years ago. Ran article where they blind taste tested all these brewers with macro brew beers, and Hams won like by a landslide. They had to pick their best
Really?
blind taste test. Hams.
I love Hams.
It's
I don't know
it's
if
a
I've
good
ever
beer.
had
It's,
Hams.
it's a cream ale, so it's it's not your typical light lager or anything like that. So naturally, it's going to have more flavor. But I live in a rural town, so we got a Casey's up the road, and for $4 I can get 4 tall boys of it. So you can't beat that.
Jason, you gotta you could do a side by side of Hams and your cream ale you're doing right now.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So let's do that
I'd
on
be
a,
down
on
for
a
it.
future webcast.
Hey, why
Okay.
did you go with such a low mash temperature on that? I saw that you posted that you did. What did you do? 148?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Uh,
aiming for a light body, and
just
148 was kind of the bottom of the scale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
It was
fermented.
interesting to me. I was worried, like when you posted it, I was like, oh, I think he's going to dry it out a little bit, but
All right. Do you want to address the elephant rolling in the room here? Because it's all Paul rolling up another one there.
Yeah, these stupid Lagunitas papers don't stick. I might have to go to the liquor store and buy some real ones.
Paulie, can you do a close up on the elements going into the paper?
Sure.
We need absolute proof.
All right, there you go. Well, come on. You saw the last podcast. I'm ripping the bag open, and boy, again, I got it right in front of the face.
I didn't see any.
I didn't see that.
Oh, right after I barged in, I
Yeah.
was like, and all of a sudden I just rip up. I'm like watching myself rip open the tobacco here. This is actual tobacco.
There you go. Okay. All right.
In my head, I just envisioned you having a bowl of pre-ground weed sitting in the middle of your table, and I was like, dude,
All right, let me
this
see
dude
if I
is
can make this happen.
damn champion.
I'm not I'm not entirely convinced that bag hasn't been refilled with another substance, but
Come on,
that's
come
Oh
on,
God, no,
Paulie.
that's in a different bag.
Close
That's
up.
a clear bag.
That's a clear bag. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Let me
right.
see it. Can I get it? You see how brown that is? I am definitely not smoking weed that's that brown. So
Okay.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's tough times
That's a
right
brown
now.
Mexican ditch weed. I ain't doing that. Working at Brewing Girl, I get spoiled with all our medical patients and everything. So leave it at that.
Yeah.
Being around forever.
Here's
But,
pouring real heady. Took me a while to get that in there.
All right. So it looks like we might have lost Scott for a minute. So
Well, his camera's still there, but he has traveled elsewhere. It looks like.
yeah, it might be time to put the kids down. So
Yeah.
he might be doing it.
hey guys, I got a
But
quick
yeah,
question. Did you guys, when you guys went back live, do you guys have a different link? Because I got a friend that was watching this
Yes.
this down now. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody text that to me. I'll just go ahead and forward it to her because I'm using up most of my data talking to you on my phone.
yeah, you know what
Hey,
it's.
Paulie, go to the JBG Social Club. I deleted the old post and posted the new one.
All right, you know what? Let me go log out for a second because I can't do all this stuff while I'm
Okay.
on my phone. So I'll be
Okay,
back in a
okay.
second.
Okay. All right. Cool.
See, okay, this is what he's doing. He's trading out the substances in the paper. He's going off camera so he can replace.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll hear me
Oh.
choking.
Oh, now we're breaking out the conspiracy theories. I see how it goes.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh man.
Oh.
So yeah. So anyway, Sean, I imagine this between the two gigs you got, this is probably a still quite the busy time for you, huh?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
the hospital stuff has gone up a lot just because they're using the scanners a lot more. So more use them, the more they break.
Sure.
But yeah, like I said, I've been I think this is the longest I've been away from the brewery in 2 years almost, because we started building out about not quite, about a year and 8 months ago. So
Okay.
every waking hour that I wasn't at work, we were there. But yeah, like I said, with my job, I'm just trying to stay away if I can with I obviously have high exposure stuff, but
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you talk about your setup a little bit? I mean, Jason and I have both had, our turns on some professional equipment with people, so it's kind of interesting. And I think what struck us both is how similar it is. We were both expecting some sort of quantum leap, but how similar it is to what we do. Can you talk about what the setup that you guys have for Brewing at Mad Hatchet?
Yeah. So, actually, this kind of goes back to, we'll get there. So we have 4 3-barrels kettles that are just Bubba barrels. 2 of them we bought from Metal Monkey, which is another JBG brewery out here in Romeoville, Illinois. And then we have a CLT, a cold liquor tank, an HLT, mash tun, and a boil kettle. The reason we have a CLT is because even though we're probably a couple miles away from Jason, where he's on that delicious Lake Michigan water, we are not. So our water goes through 2 carbon filters, a water softener, and an RO system before it even touches our brew house.
Wow.
So yeah, we strip it down to nothing and then build it back up to what we're brewing at that time.
Okay.
So the CLT is where all the RO water feeds into. We have a level switch in there that builds up. So we have a glycol coil in there that'll cool it down to we normally get it around 38, 40 degrees. And then when we chill, we'll feed it through the plate chiller back into the HLT, like you guys were talking about how I watched your last live stream about how you guys, Paulie was talking about not chilling,
right?
But how you could reuse the water. And when I was a home brewer, for that matter, I'm a little bit farther south. I'm in Minooka, so we also were not on Lake Michigan water. So I would go and buy Nestle Pure Life jugs from Jewel and use that to brew. But even at the end, I would use my house water to chill, and I'd throw it back in my boil kettle and get some PBW going, or my HLT get some PBW going for cleaning, because I had the pumps and stuff. And then especially I had a plate chiller at home, so you always want to back flush that when you're done with PBW is best, or hot water works, because
sure,
as I learned the one time I brewed with coconut in the boil, and I back flushed it and there's all that coconut coming out. It does help.
Sure. So you have you have a CLT, a cold liquor tank that your RO water drops into, and then you move it into a hot liquor tank, and then I assume you salt from there to then go into your mash and everything. Because if you're breaking it down to RO water, you got to be adding a ton of salts, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, so we strike from our boil kettle, and that's just because we have a Herms system in our HLT. Are you guys familiar with Herms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a Herms system, and the Herms system is located in the top portion of the kettle. So we don't want to drain a ton of water from the HLT. So we strike from our boil. We'll add our salts there, strike, and then we'll mash, or we'll sparge from our HLT, and then go into our boil kettle, and then we'll add the remaining salts. Normally those are mash salts. I don't know if you guys are Beersmith users, but that's what
we are. Yeah.
Yeah. So Beersmith, the new Beersmith couldn't have come out at a better time for us, because that's what we use as home brewers. And the way it just, you can build any water profile in there custom, and then go, I want a light hoppy beer, and then, or if you're like, especially with the hazies right now, the water chemistry is kind of all over, depending on who's brewing it. There's different kind of styles to brewing it. But you can custom build, this is our hazy water profile we're going to try, and then it'll just do all the math for you. Because I wasted a month of my life reading that damn water book, falling asleep every 10 seconds trying to read it. Now Beersmith just makes you not even need it.
So George and I are both avid users of the Brewing water calculator. I admit I've never used the Beersmith version for the water portion. How
are you on
different?
The latest version, the version that came out last year?
We're on version 3.
Yeah. I believe that's it. Give it a shot, man. It's got a lot of pre-built stuff into it. Like, if you don't have, a lot of times it's like, oh, I want to brew tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I don't have time to look up the perfect stout mineral content or whatever I want to build. It has that
Right,
pre-built
true.
stuff in there for stouts.
Yeah.
And then what was really fun is that had for our Irish stout, which will probably be on tap till June now because of COVID. But our Irish stout, we actually were able to do Dublin water that was where the Guinness is brewed. So
Nice.
yeah.
I'm reminded, and I just thought about this a second ago. George and I spent so much money in our early years of home brewing on buying grocery store bottled water.
Yeah.
And that was before we knew anything about water chemistry, and we never had our local water analyzed. We've certainly have done that now, and now we're using those profiles and making mineral contents off of that. Honestly, I wish we would have done it sooner. I mean, we spent years home brewing on jugged water and paying money for it.
Well,
Yeah.
that works for you guys. I can send you guys my water profile that got sent back to me. And then you'll be like, yeah, just do the jugs, bro. Like, but
You know what I do? I usually go to like the grocery stores where they have the water fill-up stations because that's at least filtered, if not RO water, usually. Like your local Jewel or Food for Less or whatever. Like at the convenience store by me, they have RO water for 43 cents a gallon.
yeah.
I just go
And,
for a couple 5 gallons.
kind of a cool tip on that is that going back to Beersmith is that like I would use Nestle Pure Life water. I'd buy those jugs and they weren't horribly expensive, not more expensive than my time that went into brewing. But anyway, all those water companies have to publish their mineral contents online. So I went online and found Nestle Pure Life water mineral content, built that profile in my Beersmith, and then was able to adjust for whatever style I was brewing in Beersmith. So, and that's essentially the same thing we do pro brewing now. It's a home brewing podcast, so I'm trying to focus more on home. I got 10 years of home brewing before I was a professional brewer, so I know a lot more about that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. All right. So
Can I ask a silly question about Beersmith? So is there an option on there, Grant? I don't do it on my computer, but I've been doing it on my phone, my mobile device. I got the new Beersmith 3. Is there a way I could take a 5-gallon batch and scale it up to a 3-gallon batch? Is there an option on there?
Yes.
Okay. Then I need to figure that out.
This is going to turn into the Beersmith promotion. We're not getting paid by Beersmith people.
We should be.
We'll listen.
We should be.
We'll listen. Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to talk, reach out to George and I. We'll certainly start that conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, don't you worry. We've talked about Beersmith quite a bit on our show. But Paul, yeah, there actually is a button. It says up, what is it? Scale recipe. And so you can just say scale up or scale down even from where you are to where you want to be. And that'll take care of it right there.
All right, I'll look into that, because I've noticed there's a big difference between having it on your PC and the mobile.
And
Right.
the other big thing you're missing out on is I don't know, can you do the water chemistry from the mobile app?
I haven't dove into that.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Well, and then the other big thing. Oh, go ahead.
You can view the water chemistry, but you cannot
Change it.
enter the water chemistry. Yeah.
So, and then the other big thing I enjoyed as a home brewer was they have a yeast starter tab. So you can go in there and said, I'm using Irish ale yeast that was made January 23rd. It's Y yeast. And then,
84.
and they'll say, this is how many cells you need. And then you basically adjust your starter, how big your starter. I had a 4-liter starter flask, so I could adjust my starter and basically do anything except for like big imperial stouts off of one pack of yeast. Obviously the Kvik has changed all that if you guys are using the Kvik.
Yeah, that's a completely different thing. We'll throw that out the window.
Yeah.
Fermenting beer at 90 degrees, really? but it's done in 2 days. So
Yeah.
I did try that once, and Sean and I did it once for a beer, and we used it at regular temperature. You would not believe it. It never dropped out. There's chunks of yeast that look like little mini battleships floating around in our beer. As we're
Sean, the the one thing that is kind of interesting is like kind of an oxygenating beer as it goes in. So when you're done and you're running it through your chillers into your vessels, do you like have a oxygen stone in line there, or
yeah, so we have carb stones on all our fermenters, and we have a medical grade oxygen tank that we oxygenate with at the brewery. Now, that's wishful thinking for a lot of people probably that watch your guys' show, but if you go to Ace or Home Depot or anything, they sell red. I used to oxygenate with, pure oxygen from those, those propane plumber's torches. They sell oxygen ones too, and so I made a fitting that would hook up into a hose, and I was brewing with an SS Brewtech
a brew bucket
fermenter.
Oh, conical. Okay.
Yeah, I went big. I was like, if I'm going to spend the money, let's spend it, type of thing. That's how home brewing is, though. It's a rabbit hole of money. But
sometimes.
And I would go.
Yes.
Yeah, I would go and pick up those, just oxygen things and hook them up, and that's how I'd oxygenate at home, because I did everything closed. Funny story. When I was home brewing, I would brew in my garage. I was still on propane, and everything wasn't doing all electric. And I would send it out the back door of my garage, down through the window well to my basement, to my conical, but it was all closed because it was traveling 35 feet from the plate chiller to the actual conical in my basement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that it wasn't fun in the winter because, we'd sanitize it, and sometimes it would freeze over before and you start transferring beer, and you have to pull the whole thing, put it in a bucket of warm water, melt it, and then re-sanitize it again, and then start sending it again. So
winter brewing is rough, and George and I have talked about this at length. I really feel like it's a cruel joke that the two biggest home brewing competitions in the Midwest are both in March, which requires everybody to be brewing in January and February.
Well, I think the thing about that, though, is that shipping beer for contests is so much better in the winter, because in the summer you're shipping, it's 90 degrees outside, and sitting in the back of a UPS or a FedEx. Not that any of us do that, because it's we're sending glassware.
We send snow globes.
Snow globes.
Snow globes.
Exactly.
I like snow globes.
Snow globes.
That's a good one. I used to just say glassware, but So
you're right.
yeah,
you're right. You're right about
is,
the transport. I get that.
Yeah.
But
I've actually been saving at the brewery, when we order a White Labs pack or a Y yeast pack, it comes in this super insulated box with these like disposable ice packs. And I've been saving them in case the JBG wants to send in the summer. Maybe we get a group thing, get like 12 bottles in one of these White Labs things. I mean, we won't overnight it, but it'll be better than.
I can get some Y yeast ones of those too if we want, from the store, because we use
exactly. Yeah, they're like these insulated boxes that we used to throw out, and I was like, I feel bad, man. These would have been awesome as a home brewer, because I mean, you guys, well, Jason knows and Paulie knows that I was entering any competition I could. I sent beer to California. I sent beer to the East Coast, everywhere.
To get back at the one advantage of winter brewing, it does suck being outside in the cold, but at least when you're chilling, groundwater is nice and cold, so we get it chilled down real quickly.
Yeah.
That's about the only advantage of it, really. So
yeah.
I'd throw my 2 cents worth on that.
Yeah.
Jason, did you get all those pictures that I sent earlier today?
I did. And actually, if we want to talk more about, let's just kick off that topic. So Paulie had his first brew day doing the no chill method. And Sean, you listened to the last episode, so you know what Paulie was kind of working on. I could do a screen share. I've got all these pictures in my email. George, I can do that, can't I? Oh, yeah.
Yes, you can.
Share
Yeah,
screen.
you
Okay.
share screen. Mhm.
Paulie, you want to tee this up a little bit before I show these?
Well, if you want to show, if you want to, I can't show them. If you want to picture them, and I can tell you
just,
like what.
I mean, just kind of tell them what
Oh,
you were aiming to
okay.
do, how your brew day went, and then how it kind of ended up.
The brew day went really well. It was kind of weird because like getting towards the end of the boil, you're not setting anything up. I'm setting up my equipment, and then top it off yesterday. I got a friend of mine that dropped off a bunch of racking system because he wants me to mimic the system at Brewing Grow that I use. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to brew on this system and then do it on the side, which was a lot of fun for me because I enjoy doing stuff like that.
I'll be right back, guys.
The one advantage is if you don't want to chill, more power to you. I did like we were talking last week because we live by lake, we got groundwater. Some people live by Lake Michigan. You're not worried about wasting the water. If you're not worried about this, keep doing it the way you do it. But if you want to maybe knock an hour or so out of the day and just put it into a kegger and get one of those cubes, I would suggest one of those two. And then I transferred it this morning. The temperature was fine. Actually, my efficiency was, I think I was like 5 or 6 points over my target OG, which the recipe that I did was I took a little bit of malty beer and I added some of those hops that I was telling you about, which they smelled amazing. I can't wait to see how this beer tastes. I'm gonna do a smash with them next. Actually, my next time I'm doing this, I'm gonna do a smash no chill and a smash chill in it and see if there's a big difference. Do a side by side. That's my next brew day on this situation because I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna keep working on it and figuring it out. I mean, I've already thought about shortcuts. If you're worried about the next day, you can keep your carboy sanitized. You can have everything ready. So all you gotta do is next morning wake up and move it and call it a day. I had everything done in probably an hour or less. The only disadvantage is you can't really take your OG reading until the next morning because you could dump it in your test jar, but you gotta let it sit and get to room temperature to get the accurate reading if you don't have a refract on.
Well, you could do there's calculations you could do based on the temperature of the liquid when you throw your hydrometer in there. So you could do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could do that at temperature and then just do those calculations.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you could do that.
I'm sure.
Good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
But still, it was cool. I mean, I was a little bit extra cautious. Like I sanitized my keg yesterday. No reason to. I don't know why I did. But it was just peace of mind for me, I guess.
That's what I would have done the same.
But then, this morning, I mean, I use CO2 to push everything around because I purged all the oxygen out of it. And then if you look at the pictures, I even had my oxygen going into the carboy and I put a blanket of CO2 in the carboy when I pushed it out of the keg into the carboy this morning. So hopefully no oxygenation happens there,
I think you covered your base just fine. Yeah, the CO2 should be enough to purge the oxygen. So I think on that point you're fine.
Yep. So it was cool. It was good to do. I look forward to trying it more. Just forever evolving in brewing. So there's a different way to do it. You never know. You never know. You could move away and you ended up in California. You got water restrictions. Well, at least you know how to do it this way.
What did you brew, Polly?
What?
What did you brew?
That's a good
Sorry
question.
if I missed it.
I brewed, actually, it was a kind of a Frankenstein recipe. It was some specialty grains with that Irish red that me and Mike Davidson brewed. But instead of using Maris Otter, I used 2-row, bumped it up a little bit, and then I used those Michigan copper hops I got from the Christmas party.
Ooh,
it's a fairly new hop, 10.5% alpha acids on there.
Okay.
And it smelled really good. I know it's part of the Michigan Hop Proprietor, and so it's fairly new. There's only one brewery in Illinois I've seen use it, and that's Arrowhead. I mean, you look it up, all the breweries in Michigan are using it. They're talking, it's more of an aroma and flavor. I did a bittering just for shits and giggles to see if there's anything out of it, but my IBU should be around 57, 58. So for a 5-gallon batch.
The easy drinker, 57.
Yeah. Right. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Look at the pictures that I sent to Jason, and it's kind of interesting how I did it. It was fun. I enjoy doing it this way.
Jason, you want to share those?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Oh, you actually put them all in one big thing. Good.
Yep. See the first one?
That's me putting it in the fermenter after it's chilling.
After it's chilled?
After it chilled overnight. I'm taking it.
Okay.
I did that about 5 o'clock today, and I pitched the yeast right after that. That's when I took my gravity and everything too.
So how long was it in the keg for?
About 24 hours.
Okay. All right. Did you check the temperature before you transferred it to the carboy?
I tested it as I was moving. It was my house temperature around 70 degrees.
All right. Your yeast can handle that?
I didn't want to pop
Okay.
the lid and put my temperature probe in there because I'm trying to keep all the oxygen out of this possible. So I just kind of did it as it was flowing in.
Okay.
When I was I actually know what I did is I took the temperature of my gravity reading because I tried to take my gravity reading this morning.
Yeah, that'll work. That's a big enough sample. Yeah.
And that was me purging all the oxygen out.
Okay.
I sanitized that tube and everything, and then I just hit it with about 10 psi for about 5 minutes. Get as much oxygen out of there as possible, at least enough to where I'm transferring beer on there. It's all sitting on CO2.
Wait,
See-
I'm sorry, 10 psi for 5 minutes? Isn't that a bit excessive?
Okay, well, maybe 2 or 3, but I just did it and walked away. I'm doing a couple other things, getting stuff ready.
Well,
So-
you know, obviously you can't overdo it, but I do worry about like using your CO2
I
unnecessarily.
get that.
You know?
Yeah, 10 psi is probably overdoing it, but you could probably go 2 or 3 just to get it out there.
Okay.
I
It's
just
a
kind of
Brewing
set
girl.
it. My gauge is
true.
probably off that I'm using too. So
Yeah, that's true. He does work at Brewing Grow. Okay, all right, I get it.
but
the
that
rest of us have to pay for our CO2.
don't give away my secrets.
But that does raise. No, I had the same question as George because I've never been totally clear about how long and how much of a blast of CO2 it takes to purge oxygen.
Well,
I mean,
a bottle. Go ahead.
The only way to really test something like that is maybe test the oxygen levels. But as far as I know, as long as you get enough down in there and you get that blanket, because CO2 is heavier than oxygen, it's going to sit down there at the bottom, and then when you're filling beer from the bottom up, you'll always have that blanket on top of it.
Which is why we always made the practice of, when you're using a beer gun, always just, give it a quick last blast of CO2 before you cap it.
Right.
Exactly. I kind of followed this the same. I didn't put CO2 back on top of it because then I had to pitch my yeast and give it some oxygen because I don't have an oxygen stone or anything like that here. I just did the whole shaky method.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was probably more like 2, 3, 5 pounds. I'm just pulling numbers off the top of my head and not even. I should have taken a picture of that one, but you never know.
Sean, go ahead.
Why'd you purge it with CO2 before you oxygenated it?
Because I didn't want to oxygenate the work coming out of the keg into the carboy.
Yeah, but you haven't pitched the yeast yet. It needs that oxygen.
I oxygenate. Well, I just wanted to keep the. You got a good point on that. Maybe.
I'm just thinking. I'm
Yes,
just
he
No,
does.
you got a very good point.
thinking out loud that it
I'm
needs
going
that
all
oxygen
preaching
right
mode
there.
on this,
So
like, hey, no, I was just thinking moving it from here to here because they always hear about people talking about like all the negative things I heard about this. I'm keeping this into account as I'm doing this. I mean, I enjoy. I'm used to doing it, chilling it, counterflow, submersion chiller, or whatever right away. I was just not wanting to hurt the work before I put it in there.
yeah,
That makes
what?
sense.
Anytime you transfer anything or dry hop in especially you put that blanket of CO2 on. So I don't think it's necessary here because right now you want that oxygen. It's at the end, once it's done fermenting, that's when the oxygen is the enemy. So right there, I mean,
that makes sense, and I appreciate that. I won't do that next time.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, I won't do
Okay.
that. I mean, this is like I said. This is me being a freak about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as sanitary as possible.
Oh yeah, no. I'm the guy who used to like spray the scissors before I cut the yeast bag open.
I do that.
Like I was the sanitary anal guy, and then I read an article about how hard it is to actually infect beer, and this guy was actually trying to infect this beer and it's really hard to infect beer,
Which
Right.
makes all those.
I could give advice on a couple of ways because I've had more than one batch of beers get infected.
This guy was sneezing in his beer purposefully to try to infect it.
It's a bit excessive.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
That's a picture of my OG. It looks like 1076. My
Ooh,
estimate,
that's a big boy.
my estimated was 1071. I used 11 pounds of base grain.
What your ABV was? You're shooting for 8-9% on that guy.
I think on Beer Smith it said like 7.5 ish, like 7.4.
Oh, so you're gonna have a high finishing gravity, so it's gonna be a little sweeter.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, and this is kind of what I was thinking about with, doing it this system. Like I was thinking more maltier than hoppier. I mean, I only use the APA guidelines on the hop schedule on it. Like, because I did an APA when I built the recipe. My color and my ABV was way high. I'm like, whatever. I'm just caring really about the IBUs on this beer.
Okay.
Cool stuff.
If that makes any kind of sense.
I think we can all agree that Jason needs to check his email a little bit more frequently.
Yeah, maybe put it as like a quick one.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah,
your
it's-
YouPorn subscription is up. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's all
down below?
fucking garbage.
That's what
I'm just
you're
looking at
going
the 1,000 emails that he has. Unless Polly sent a lot of pictures.
I probably sent like over a dozen pictures. Like these are all still from today. He can go back to the brew day where I'm actually going right into the carboy. Maybe let me see if I can find it. But if I find it, you're not going to see me no more. All right, go
Right.
back, Jason.
What's that?
Actually, is there a way we can log into Facebook and just go on my homebrew page? Because there's a cluster of pictures
Yeah.
each time.
Yeah, sure.
That's one way to do it because I
just-
did like group photos. So
Just remember, you're on the internet here, right?
I know.
Can you still see
I'm
my
still
screen?
smoking tobacco. Calm down.
Don't show any. No. I'm. There you go,
Talking to
Paul.
Jason.
I'm just like, don't pull up like your home address or anything,
No. I know that. No, just go. No. Go to the Park House,
Oh, okay.
my homebrew page.
Oh man, it's so bad when people watch you type. That's
What
when
is
you
it?
type the
I know.
worst.
It's so uncomfortable.
Parkhouse Brewing, it was 2 below that.
All right, this is painful.
I'm sorry, man. It was there.
It's
think
two
is
words.
it two
It's
words?
two words. It's two
It's
words.
2 words.
Oh, there it
Oh.
is. I'm pointing at my screen like you can see what the hell I'm pointing at.
There it is.
I see it.
Yay!
It's
there's a
right
page.
there!
Yeah, keep going down. Go down to my posts. That'll probably be it because there's a cluster of each one. Yeah, that's live fermentation. Go down.
Did I say you were brewing hypnotic?
No,
That's what I
was
saw.
actually. I forgot what that was, but I actually caught live fermentation.
Oh, active
Doing that.
fermentation is hypnotic.
You know what? I just posted a
Damn.
video on Twitter similar to that, and look at these little buggers go.
I know, right? You see
Yeah.
me watching this. Like when you're sleeping and it's bubbling, like I'll sleep great when I got beer fermenting in my house.
What
Until I
yeast-
hear the cork blowing and I got
Well,
yeast going everywhere.
It's also releasing CO2 into the room, so that might have
Yeah.
something to do with it.
Well, I got every other kind of smoke going on here. I'm not worried about the CO2. So.
Okay.
Let's scroll down, Jason. That's today. You guys all pretty much saw that today. So this is yesterday. That's actually me going straight from the boil right into the kettle. That picture that you got your icon on, that's that. And that was
You
about the
did
only
do-
difference between any other brew day.
That's Star Sand in there, isn't it? In your
Correct.
in your keg. Yeah.
Correct.
I don't
Like
think you need.
I probably sanitized it and didn't need it, but I was a freak. I was being a freak. I obviously added CO2 when I shouldn't have. So
What
You don't-
temperature? What
you don't need
temperature?
that- You don't need that sanitizer going there with 220-degree work.
I know,
Yeah.
and
Or
I
212
knew that
degree
as
work.
I was doing it. Here, the picture on the right. Those are the hops that I use. 10.5 Michigan Copper, and that's pretty much it. Those are the pictures that I got. So
Okay.
if people want,
there's
to, they could like my homebrewing page, and you can follow me trying to figure this stuff out for myself. It's Parkhouse
Okay.
Brewing.
Barkhouse Brewing, Mr. Polly.
Yeah, that's me. Okay, we got that taken care of. Thank you, guys. It was fun. I enjoyed
man.
it. I look forward to doing it again. We'll talk about it again. Hopefully, we'll do some side by
Bless you.
side.
We
Thanks for
always like
sharing,
to
Polly.
hear about new methods of brewing and things like that. So thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing how it tastes when it's all done.
Yeah, me too. Trust
what-
me. I'll post a video of it fermenting tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll be fermenting in the morning. I only pitched it probably like an hour and a half ago. So
Said me too. I'm almost out of beer in this quarantine. Don't want to run
I
out to
still
the
got a
liquor
little
store.
more I was
Yeah, this Belgian blonde I got behind me, the beer is it can't be done fast enough.
Oh yeah. I used to
Go ahead,
brew 10. I always brewed 10 gallons at a time because the funny thing about brewing is no matter if you're brewing 10 barrels or 5 gallons, it takes the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was running low on keg space, I would drop off growlers on the neighbors' doorsteps. Be like, hey, turn my growler, but here's some beer. So
Yeah.
But yeah, now I kind of wish I was homebrewing again because I got not very much in the house right now. Well, I mean, besides
do you still have your setup, or do you sell it off once you went pro?
no, actually, we still use my SS BrewTech fermenter. We use it at the brewery for pilot batches.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
I have everything else but being able to ferment here. I guess I get a carboy or something. And
You need some carboys? I'll give you some carboys. You can brew at the house.
I don't know. Once you've used the Excalibur, it's hard to go back.
Okay,
It's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, when I started homebrewing in 2008, and like Blickman was the only game in town. And so I remember looking up, before I even brewed my first batch, conical fermenters. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then Blickman was charging like $1,500 for a 7-gallon one. And I was like, oh, that shit's never going to happen. And then SS BrewTech and another one is Spike. The Spike kettles are amazing. If you guys are upgrading, get the Spike kettles. SS BrewTech's going to be mad at me because I spent so much money with them at one time they sent me a free hoodie. But yeah, the Spike kettles are amazing. If you guys are worried about efficiency with home brewing, which in my opinion you should absolutely not be worried about efficiency in home brewing, Spike does offer the Herm system, which will probably bring up your efficiency by 10%. But you're spending that much more money to save $3 in grain every time when you're home brewing.
Yeah, fair enough. But I'm looking to build my I was like yesterday or 2 days ago I was looking at Herm's coils because I have a kettle that I'm not using anymore. It's a 7.5 gallon. So I was looking at getting a small Herm's coil, and I'm wondering how much do you have to change your profile to be able to support that? Like as far as amount of water that you use, grains and things like that
No. It shouldn't change anything.
No?
Because all you're doing is you're feeding from the bottom of your mash tun. You're going back into your HLT, which is heated to whatever mash temp. If you're, let's say 152, it's heated to 152 because you're mashing at 152. And then it's dropping that water back off on the top of your mash. It's the same thing as recirculating, except you're maintaining your mash temp the whole time.
Right.
And because you're recirculating the whole time, you're efficient. Those grains are just going to get washed through.
So the efficiency should go up quite a bit.
You'll be at it at a homebrew at a typical homebrew scale with a Herm's coil. You should be somewhere around 80%. But
I'll take that.
You want to spend that. There's better ways to spend that money because.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But for me, home brewing is like 2 parts making beer to 1 part tinkering with stuff.
You watch baseball, clearly.
No, not at all.
Oh, really? I was
Yeah.
like, you're a stats guy. You have to be a
No,
stats guy.
no.
Like, oh man, my efficiency was 82 today.
Not at
I
all.
know.
You know what it is?
I'm the baseball
He's
guy
the
among
baseball
us.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up watching MacGyver. So I look at situations and I say, I can build that, you know.
Yeah.
You can ask Jason when we first set up and we did we had a dough cooler for our first
Mash tun.
our lagering fridge or and it was a temperature controller. And I was looking at it, I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, oh, it's a switch. And went and wired everything up. And he's like, I have no idea what just happened, but yay.
No, I get my big thing is like with home brewing, like I said, I can't even count how many home brewers are coming to the brewery that want to talk about efficiency. And I was like, don't worry about efficiency. Worry about recipe development.
Yeah.
You can spend your you could save that money for a Herms coil. And honestly, those brew buckets that Scott uses or the conical fermenters from SS Brewtech, that's gonna drastically change the quality of your beer, especially if you're trying to brew something clear. It really is.
Yeah, that's where the catalyst that I was talking about has really upped my game as far as that goes. That's really helped as far as the clarity of my beers.
I guess what I'm saying is there's better ways to spend your money. It's super cool to get high efficiency and talk to your friends and be like, hey, I got 8%, that, but in reality, at a homebrew scale, especially if you're brewing 5 gallons, you're talking about a difference in 3 pounds of grain.
Yeah, and I'm totally with you. And if it was just about efficiency, I'd agree with you. But for me, I've never actually worked with a Herms system before, so I wanna, and I have a pump, I have hot lines, I have an extra kettle, I've got a step up drill bit. All I need is the coil. And, so it's one of those things of...
Well, the cheapest part of buying a pump is buying the pump and then buying all the connectors and stuff you need, and hosing and tubing you need after. I walked into Chicago Brew Works buying a pump. Put the $150 pump on the table, my chugger pump. I think you said you use a chugger as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
I love those chuggers.
And then all the fittings and hosings. And then I think I was brewing a Zombie Dust clone at the time. So I threw that recipe on top of it. I walked out of there. My bill was $400.
Yeah. Yeah, so. But did you go with like the quick disconnect?
No,
fittings?
I just did. So I did all hose barb fittings with. They make those worm gears, but they actually have like a tab on them. So I use those.
Oh no, yeah. No. What I mean is so I used the hose clamps too, but the fittings that I use that actually connect to my chugger and to my kettle, they're quick disconnect. They're like ball lock.
Oh yeah. Initially, I did not do that. Eventually, I did do that.
Yeah.
But
so
at the time, I was just like, I'm buying this pump, man. I need to get out of here for as cheap as possible, type thing. So.
Yeah, I went with the high temp plastic head. So I didn't want to have to be unscrewing and screwing onto that over and over again because I was afraid I was going to break it.
Exactly.
So I went with the quick disconnect ones right away. And no, that was not the cheapest thing in the world. No. I found a kit online specifically for pumps like that. I think I spent $150.
I think it's the kit you're talking about. I think it's More Beer because I think I looked at it.
Yeah.
More Beer had the quick disconnect kit that they sold on top of the pump, and it was damn near the same price as the pump.
Yeah, it was. But honestly, at the end of the day, it was worth it because how easy is it to move it around with this quick disconnect?
Or think on the fly, like if you screwed something up. Trying to think of an example here. But I've used it a bunch of times to fix stuff. I'm trying to think of an example where it's like, I don't know, like my gravity was, my mash temp was too high. So I just re-pumped back onto itself. Cause when I was homebrewing, it was just, I had a cooler. I had like a 50, like we're going to go party on a boat.
Right.
Or it's light for the weekend cooler, like the big guy, the big white guy,
Right.
Or a mash tun.
Yeah, and then I did a copper just
The manifold.
Paulie.
What?
I don't want to ever show Paulie it because he'll look at my plumbing welds and he'll be like, "You chump." But
I won't, because I
So
know
you-
you're a
you-
home brewer and you're
Yeah.
doing your own. Hey,
yeah,
that's
so
how
I
you
built
do
a
it.
copper manifold and then I drilled through the top and built a sparge arm over top. But like if my mash temp, there was one time in particular, mash temp was too high and I just recirced it on top of itself without going through any heating elements. And it, just thinking on the fly, like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm way too high. It just helps out a lot,
Sure.
for sure. But yeah, efficiency with homebrewers though, I just think it's a wasted time. Herms. The one thing about the Herms though, that efficiency aside, is that you, not necessarily on a propane, but if you go electric someday, and you can set up your elements to heat off of what's being dropped back on top of your mash. So
Okay.
it's sucking out of your mash, going through the Herms, but you have your heating elements in your HLT. This is Mike's setup in his garage. Everyone knows how crazy that was. And this is what we were homebrewing with in his garage. But basically it's adjusting the HLT temperature on dropping that temperature, that water back in your mash at 152 or whatever you're aiming for. So your mash temp is just consistent. That is
Right.
the one thing. Like if you do plan on going electric ever, because
So-
you'll never be able to do it with propane, just constantly adjusting. But if you ever do plan on going electric, spend the money, get the Herms so that you can do it
Right.
the right way later.
So here is what my plan is, because again, MacGyver. Here's what my plan is to be able to maintain the temperature in the HLT. Is right now, what I do to get my strike water is I get it up to generally close to the temperature I need. I stick it in my HLT and stick a sous vide element into, like the cooking element that maintains a certain temperature. I stick that in there to get up to the fine-tuned temperature that I need it to be at.
Yeah.
So my plan is to essentially heat my HLT water, stick the it's a Lenovo sous vide system into there, and then let that maintain the temperature. And I'm pretty sure that with it circulating out of the mash tun and into through the Herms coil, that the sous vide is going to be able to keep up with that reasonably. Sure.
That's the thing about homebrewers, is that you might call yourself MacGyver, but all of us have a little MacGyver in us, because every time that there's 100 ways to skin a cat.
You have to.
like,
Oh,
you
you
have to do
yeah.
that.
oh, exactly. Yeah. And you got to think on the fly. Like, oh man, this is screwed up.
Because something is always going to come up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A smooth brew day makes me more nervous, like especially
Right?
homebrew.
What did I forget?
Yeah.
Yep.
How the hell was that so easy?
Like 4 or 5 hours? Yeah.
You wake up hungover the next morning and everything's clean, and you're like, "What the hell happened yesterday?"
Oh my God. There was one time we told this story on a podcast recently, because there was one time I was brewing. I got so hammered during the brew day. I apparently called and had a whole conversation with Jason. I drove and got more propane at some point. I transferred everything, cleaned everything, did not remember like 20 minutes of the brew day the next day. It was not.
Oh, that's never happened to any of us.
To add more color to that, George had a full hour-long conversation with me while he was
I didn't
messed
remember
up.
it at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I speak for every homebrewer ever, and every homebrewer / alcoholic. That's never happened to any of us. You're the only person.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I just make it. I don't drink it.
Hey, Paul,
Right,
you remember
right.
the last JBG meeting? You were pretty on that
Bits and
one.
pieces. You need to calm down on that one. Yeah, really bits and
I'm sorry,
pieces
I'm
of
sorry.
that one.
My bad.
Oh,
They'll edit
trust
that
me,
out.
I
They'll
had Kevin
edit
asking
that
me
out.
about it. I'm like,
Oh man.
I woke up. I'm like, I know I didn't drive. Who drove me home? And that's how I can remember. So I remember talking about the.
I drove you
breakfast
home.
over
We
there.
cuddled for a minute.
Oh, did we? I don't deny it. Maybe we did. You never know, Sean.
I bet that beard is really soft.
Oh, wait. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face.
No, yeah, right, yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm going to go grab another beer real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, man. We'll be
We
here.
need Scott to come back. What's he?
I know.
Yeah,
I think we scared him away.
Yeah,
Do you think he knows his camera is still on?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No?
I think you should leave it on just in case he like walks down there naked in the morning or something.
Live
I'll be right
stream
back,
all
guys.
night long.
All right.
George, do you have a number you can text him at?
Well, I can send a message through Twitter, see if he can get that.
Yeah, he might get that if it's got it on his phone.
So, Jason, when are we gonna make meat again? I agree
Dude.
with you. Let's do this for boss.
Yeah, we have time. Let me measure out how much honey I have. You have honey also, don't you? Or do you use it all?
We use all
right.
my honey.
Okay.
Last time, so. But
Okay.
we can get it from the same dude
Right.
now. So
Right. So the question becomes just how much I have left, and then we can figure out how much we need.
Yep.
So,
no, we can do that. It'd be fun.
okay. Yeah.
Because after trying like the original, I was actually really impressed with it. Like there was a meeting that got canceled. I brought like 2/3 of a growler, and I'm so glad that I didn't send it in to boss because now I wouldn't get it back.
That is true. Yeah.
You know, this is the first time in my life I was like, I have a beer that I'm fairly certain could win at least category in Boss.
Yeah.
And I send it in, and what happens?
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it. What is it? September 29th? Is that the date? They
It's either-
rescheduled till
September or October. It's one of the two.
Yeah, they just said they didn't give a specific date. I don't think yet.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they
yeah,
did?
it's in
Oh.
the email. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't
Well,
remember
it's good.
offhand what it was, but there was a date in there.
You know what's funny with me and the whole boss competition? Because maybe I've been entering for so many years because I didn't enter nothing this year because I heard it was already filled up. When they opened it up, I got a personal email from boss going, "Hope like you're here past couple years. Why aren't you here? Is it filled up?" I'm like, "Exactly." We got 200. We had a few entries. That's when I entered that red.
Yeah.
That
Same here.
So how do we feel about the homebrew con? Do we think that's going to happen?
when Nashville. When is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
July?
June.
July?
June.
Who knows? Hell, they pushed back in the Indianapolis 500 on Memorial Day weekend until August today. So
Yeah, that's true. They did.
Speculation.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a dangerous thing.
It's kind of.
I was telling some of my execs today on a meeting. They were talking about it, and I was like, "Yeah, buddy of mine was asking when opening day for baseball is going to be," and I was like, "I don't know, man. I might have some bad news for you there."
Yeah.
yeah, right.
as long as football it's clear by football season.
We talked about that too. It's
We
like,
did.
yeah, I mean, is that
It
a
starts later.
possibility that gets impacted? It does start
Yeah.
later, but is that going to be out of, are we going to be out of the weeds by then? That's still an unknown.
Yeah, still
knows?
an unknown. Yeah,
There's so much going on. There's like so many things going on this summer. Like, who knows what we're gonna be able to do? I mean, we got the drink in the clink. I mean, have you heard about that one, George?
what's that? No.
I know Sean and Jason know about it. You know the old shutdown prison in Joliet.
Yeah.
Blues
We're gonna
Brothers.
we're putting
Yeah.
a beer fest on there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
In the prison.
When?
Inside the walls of the prison in the yard.
When?
As of right now, it's October 10th.
Okay.
Oh, it's October.
drink
I
in the
thought it
clink.
was late September for some
No, it's
reason.
October 10th. That's the date.
Cool.
As of
Okay.
right now. So.
All right.
I'm
Well,
part-
my first Herms
And
brew
Hatchet Brewing
beer.
will be there.
Nice. If you're doing a
trust
homebrew
me,
competition,
I was on you guys. I was actually on Mel like, hey, did they sign up? Did they sign up? Because I don't have any of you guys' numbers, so and you never respond too much, so I'm gonna give you that.
You're pointing at everybody.
We don't know who you're pointing at,
I was
Polly.
pointing at Sean. Sorry.
I'm going to be responding a lot more now that I see
You
how
have.
good you
You
roll
have, I get it.
smoking products. I'm going to need some
Sorry.
tips.
Yeah.
I was trying to point
Well,
at Sean.
That's
I'm
what
pointing
won
at
you
the
over,
corner of my
Sean?
phone.
His
That's what
rolling?
won me over. I was like, dude, that takes me like a half an hour.
I'll tell you what. Go into a brew fest where Joliet Jake spent time. I might have to do that.
Yeah.
I think I asked at one of the meetings sarcastically, like, is Dan Aykroyd's going to be there for sure, right? Like, just totally joking. And they were like, we're working on it. I was like, oh shit.
No, they're actually working on it. They are.
I would
actually-
definitely be
surprised.
there.
I'm not surprised.
With some
Yeah.
Crystal Skull vodka that's rinsed through diamonds.
That's just ridiculous, right?
They are actually doing the 50th, not 50th, 30th anniversary of Blues Fest or Blues Brothers. 30, yeah.
Wait, is
40.
that how long?
No,
it's been?
81.
It's
It came out in 80.
40.
We're in 20.
40 years.
40.
Okay.
Yeah, 40. They're going to do the 40th anniversary of the Blues Fest inside the prison, too.
Nice.
Nice.
They're
Yeah.
actually doing, because
Don't burn your fingers now.
No, it was just tobacco coming out of the end of my cigarette or
Still
joint
burn
or
your
whatever.
fingers.
Burn your fingers. I don't want you to get too excited.
It was just tobacco.
No, they're that's one of the events they're going to do besides the Drink of the Clink. So,
Okay.
I mean, they actually, if people in the area are tuned in, they have tours. You can do tours of the prison right now. You can go walk through inside the walls and all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You guys know Dan Aykroyd's a big alien conspiracy guy?
Yes.
I'm a big Joe Rogan podcast guy.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I kind of learned he was batshit crazy with just how like little Joe could talk during that entire interview. I was like,
That
oh my
happens
God.
sometimes. Joe
Yeah.
gets, I feel like
does.
Joe gets overwhelmed by some of his guests and he's like,
Dude, the Macaulay Culkin one too. I was like,
That was good.
it was good, but I was like, I mean, he's crazy, but not as crazy as I thought he'd be.
Yeah.
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 He was,
I
I mean, it was at least a decent conversation. He
Yeah.
held his own just fine.
I feel like Macaulay Culkin had that period where he was super crazy and now he's
Mhm.
kind of coming down from that.
Yeah.
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 He's taken a lot of Adderall. That was very clear from that conversation. I think he admitted that too. Do you remember that, Sean?
I don't remember exactly. Yeah, with my
we may have to cut this out.
Yeah, with my job. Yeah, let's not talk shit about Macaulay Culkin's great. This is on the internet.
This is not a show to get legal,
Home Alone was the shit.
finance, or celebrity gossip
Yeah, yeah.
information.
Being a guy who grew up in Chicagoland, right when that movie came out, and of course that takes place in Chicago. It just
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a hometown movie. At
Does
least
that
it
take-
felt that way.
Doesn't that take place in Hinsdale?
No, the house where they shot everything at is up
I don't
in
remember the town.
I think it's Winnetka.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the rich northern suburbs.
Wow,
If you
Hinsdale.
another Netflix recommendation, the movies that made us, go watch the Home Alone episode.
Okay.
Like it tells you exactly how it's like they didn't shoot inside the house because the house like they couldn't get cameras in there.
Is that true?
Built it inside a gym in a school where like every 80s movie that was in a high school was filmed.
All the
Shut up! They never
Yeah.
shot
That
inside that house.
No, it wasn't shot inside. They're just
Oh
outside
my
scenes.
god!
Well,
Wow.
that
And-
wouldn't be too surprising. I wonder if it's the same one where all the other John Hughes high school movies.
Yeah,
were.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
could
the
be.
same
Same one.
northern Chicago high school that all his movies were filmed at. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is too is like John Candy did that movie as a favor to John Hughes, and
Okay.
he got paid less than the pizza delivery guy for that movie.
He was brilliant in that movie.
Yeah, so I don't know. The movies that made us series on Netflix, it has that one and like Ghostbusters and Dirty Dancing. I skipped. I'm not
Oh,
I don't
come
get all
on, you
hot and
like
bothered by
Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. So
Here, Sean's putting baby in the corner.
Yeah.
You see how it is?
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
What's got
The
Paul,
movies.
what
was-
Where do you find that, Sean? Movies that made us.
oh, it's on
Netflix.
Netflix. I'm sorry,
It's on
did I not
Netflix?
mention that?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They also did the toys that made us. So I'm a '90s kid, so
Yeah.
they had a thing on Ninja Turtles, and I was like, oh. I'm done.
Ninja
For the
Turtles.
next hour, because I remember I gave my my brother ripped his eyeball because I hit him with the pizza thrower from the Ninja Turtles. I had the
Oh,
pizza
no.
thrower.
Oh, damn.
I called him in the room. I was like, Brandon, come here. And shot the pizzas at him.
I'm guessing
they
this
were
is
hard plastic. They weren't foam.
I'm guessing this is a younger brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had some of the Matchbox cars and Transformers back when they were die-cast metal, and you could really hurt somebody. You know? Yeah.
Transformers was another one on that show.
Oh, I believe
I just feel like I'm plugging Netflix and Beersmith today.
Let me give a free plug to something else. You talk about movies that made us. Sean, I'm hooked on a podcast right now called The Rewatchables.
Oh, really?
It's awesome. It goes really deep into movies of the past. The
kidding.
latest episode that came out this week, they did on the Karate Kid, and it's one of their best ones. Check it out.
Awesome.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, Cobra Kai, that shit's a bomb.
Yeah. Oh,
the country heard from. So
Where is he?
while we're on the topic of recommendations, have you guys ever listened to LeVar Burton Reads?
no.
No.
So LeVar Burton, the Reading Rainbow, Kunta Kinte, that guy.
What are we talking about? Podcasts or like a show?
So that's a podcast.
Okay.
But he was recently trying to figure out like what can I do during this time and everything. So he's talking about live streams. He's like, but we have problems with rights and everything. And so how do I, get rights to these books real quick so I can do live streams and read them and things like that? Well, Neil Gaiman, I'm not sure which one. But anyway,
Popular author,
science fiction author, great guy, replied to him and said, you have blanket permission to use any of my books.
Oh,
and
cool.
So I'm keeping an eye out for LeVar Burton reading anything by Neil Gaiman because I will tune into that.
Yeah, I do. With my full-time job, I'm just driving to hospitals fixing, and I drove 3 hours away to a hospital to go fix their scanner. So I just get sick of music, as weird as that sounds, that people who drive at a normal rate. I put 37,000 miles on my company car every year.
Wow.
That's how much I'm driving. So
you're
I
pounding
love
through
podcasts
then.
just to break up the
That sounds like the perfect time to listen to A Nice Place to Brew.
Oh,
I agree.
that's what I listened to, except I had to turn it off because I was like, they don't have hams or PBRs.
Thank you very much. I love my hands.
and those 3-hour Joe Rogan podcasts go by pretty quickly then.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah, no, they do. Today he had Tom Segura on for
for Ball Hog, the new Netflix
the new
special.
Netflix special.
And
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they were talking about how like entertainment is shut down right now,
Yeah.
like except for podcasts. That's the only thing that can go on right now.
Yeah,
So
I watched
it's
Tom-
a really
people-
cool medium right now. I think for sure.
I watch Tom
Yeah.
Segura's YouTube channel all the time. Your Mom's House. I'm hooked
Oh,
on
yeah.
it.
Did you watch his
DJ
special?
Dadmouth?
Oh yeah, I've seen all those clips. Hilarious.
Yeah, him, Bill Burr, and Joe Rogan. I listened to all three of their podcasts. All right, Mira.
So I am.
Like seeing yourself on the screen.
I'm hot and cold on Tom Segura's actual stand-up comedy. Has anybody seen his new special? Is it?
I haven't watched it yet because the wife's making me wait to watch it with her.
Okay.
Does
Jason,
she-
I know you're a fan. Have you seen it yet?
I'm in the same boat as you. I'm a little hit and miss on Tom Segura's stand-up,
Okay.
but I never miss a podcast that he's on.
No, he's really good in that format. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not a big Your Mom's Place, fan, but every time I do catch it, like when I'm at your place, typically, it is funny. But his stand-up is just not my scene a lot of times.
I mentioned this when we were talking yesterday, George, and I'll say it here on the show. There is a difference between being a good stand-up comedian and just being a good storyteller.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, like a good storyteller, I mean, that does wonders for a person, but it doesn't automatically leap you over to being a good stand-up. comedian.
Yeah.
So if you guys only watch this Netflix stuff,
yeah. Well, I tried it. Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So next time you got some time in the car or something, and if you have Apple Music or Spotify, go look up Tom Segura Thrilled.
Thrilled?
His album when he just did it audio.
Okay.
It is the
How old
funny.
is
I almost crashed my car. I was laughing so hard.
this?
He does a bit on bikes where he's talking about how bikers think they own the road now, and I'm not going to give anything away, but I hate bikers in general. Like, not motorcyclists, just bikers who, like, since Lance Armstrong became cool, think that I can't kill them with my car.
Let's be fair. Some motorcyclists have that opinion too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that one.
But if you're wearing spandex, I'm automatically gonna. Lance Armstrong, get out of my way! I can kill you. I can kill you like this. All I have to do is go like this. You should shut up right now.
Oh man.
But yeah, listen to that. Tom Segura thrilled. I don't know. I enjoy it. He's very dry. He's a dry sense of humor guy. But I don't know.
Which I dig. Like, two of my favorite comedians are Mitch Hedberg and Stephen Wright. You know, so dry
Mitch Hedberg,
humor.
You can't.
Cool,
that's
man.
a shame that guy is gone.
I know, right? Yeah, and Stephen Wright and just that dry humor of just, I'm going to say something that's going to be accidentally funny on purpose is just phenomenal.
He's got that bit about a escalator could never break down. It could just become stairs.
Yeah.
Temporarily stairs. Sorry
for the convenience.
that one
that
gets
clip.
me. And the one where he's like, because somebody asked me if I want a frozen banana. And I said, no, but I want a regular banana later. Then I was like, yeah.
So I mean, it's just absolutely. So that I mean, I love dry humor. For some reason, Tom Segura just hasn't done it for me in the stand-up specials. But
this is the next brewery, Riverlands Brewing, that you'll be trading with your Illinois friends for.
That's what St. Charles, is that where they're at?
St. Charles. They have been killing it. They actually just snuck in their anniversary party right before their first year anniversary, right before COVID broke out here in Illinois.
Damn.
Well, I think my Illinois friend that I trade snow globes with owes me. I think it's his turn. So
I will relay the message, and
you'll relay the message.
I'll make sure that gets taken care of for you.
You'll let him
You can
know.
always call them samples, and we're so good.
Post taste.
Oh man.
Have one last comment about Tom Segura. Have either of you guys seen his dance video that's on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
but he's dressed up as
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal eating a carrot.
Oh, George, check it out. It's hilarious.
All right.
It's short. It's only like a minute and a half or something.
Okay.
Talk about brewing again?
Well, I was just about to say, I don't know about you guys, but
we got down a rabbit hole.
We did, but I don't know about you guys, but it's getting a little late for me. So I'm thinking I need to call it for tonight. But we want to do this Mondays and Thursdays. So unfortunately, we lost the stream a little while ago, but I am recording. So hopefully I'll be able to upload this to the channel because I think it's fun. And but if you guys are available, including you, Scott, if you see this later, well, you can still drink it. Including
I was
you,
hoping
Scott.
Scott would play us something.
I know. Wait, he did earlier.
He did earlier.
Damn it!
Yeah.
You missed it earlier.
But anyway, if you're available on Monday, I'd love to do this again, and we can talk about something else home brewing related and dive down some other rabbit holes.
Monday, Thursday, every time.
Yeah,
I'm into it. So just send me links. I'll be in.
You got it.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
We are about to. We have a JBG webcast that's about to start here at 8:00 Central Time. So So Paulie and Sean, if you want to double over, then you know where to find the link.
So raise a glass, guys.
What about George too? Oh, he's got to go to bed though.
Yeah, George is going to bed. It takes a lot of good beer to make great beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. It was fun.
All right.